he wanted to score. And I think that was a big reason, why the Bucks were able to be in this game for most of the night. Antetokounmpo was aggressive and productive. Obviously, Damian Lillard was making shots and filling it up, and for a large stretch of this game was getting to whatever spot he wanted and doing that damage from there. Yet, the Boston Celtics, despite the fact that they did not get banner performances from a few of their core guys, they were able to get the win. That's impressive to me. That's impressive to me. And, with what this team is and what they've done and last year in the championship, there just isn't a myriad of opportunities to be impressive, I think, in the regular season. True opportunities. This was one of them. They come out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I still don't. Peyton Pritchard has been so good for this team. I still don't come out with these unbelievably high expectations. So I'm okay with the fact that he had a dud of a game. 0 points in 24 minutes, 0 for 2 from 3. I mean, he only took 2 threes. Would have made some if he took more. Sam Hauser, though, stepped up. Sam Hauser, what was he, 4 for 8, 50% from 3? He was in double figures. I mean, that's what this team is. That's what this team does. I thought Neemias Queta gave him some good minutes. Some good minutes. 16 points for Sam Hauser, 50% from 3. The Celtics, as a team, just 32% from 3. That's not their identity. Yet they still find a way to be one of the best teams currently, right now, in the NBA, despite the fact that the struggles were real, especially in that second quarter. I mean, Milwaukee had been balling out. Now, their quality of opponent hasn't been great. They did beat the Rockets back on November 18th. Beat them by a point, snuck by. Then they're beating teams Chicago, Indiana, Charlotte, Miami, Washington, Detroit. I mean, it's not like they're, beating the best teams in the league, but wins are wins. So the fact that they were able to, the Celtics, fend off this feisty team that hadn't won here since 2018 with Doc Rivers, you knew it was a rallying cry for them, to come in here as motivated as they were, and to find a way to get away. I mean, this is what this team continues to develop, the Celtics. That winning DNA, which they've had. But, I mean, anytime this team wants to find a way to win a close game and eke out a good win like that, I'm for it. I think that adds value to their overall operation. I know they usually kill teams. I'm not sure that teams are going to be able to stay close. I'm not sure they're going to be able to, other teams are going to be able to play close games against the Celtics frequently enough to make it a playoff series, whomever they play, come April and May and June. I'm not sure. Because what happens is, if they aren't playing well, they're going to win some close games. They'll end up sweeping that team. But another opponent coming in here and winning close games and getting it to 7 games, I don't know. I don't know how that happens. But what I do know is that the Bucks came in here determined on a mission tonight, and the Celtics, despite 3 of their guys having off nights or not even playing, found a way to get this win. Jordan is in Haverhill. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up?
I just wanted to agree with you on what you were saying, like right now, and even pregame about just like who can really stand to the test of beating the Celtics in like a 4-game win series, and like this kind of proved it. Like, the Celtics, they weren't on par tonight with what they usually are with everyone, but you had your stars perform like what they're supposed to. Tatum, Brown, and even Holiday coming back. He had some slumpers in the past weeks, but showing his dominance against his past team as well. That's just hard. And yeah, I definitely got to agree with you. I don't think anyone's matching the Celtics or coming close to them in a 7-game series.
I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm not. I'm calling it like I see it. I don't know where it's going to come from. We'll find a way to, continue to analyze what's going on in the NBA. I just don't know where it's coming from. I'm just being real. I mean, tonight, now, not that the Bucks are the best team in the league. They were hot. They were beating some bad teams, whatever. I mean, their record right now currently, what are they, 11-11? They're a 500 team, on paper. I'm just saying, they come in hot. They got Giannis, they got Lillard, they got Middleton back. I mean, their roster's pretty good. Gary Trent, we already know Brook Lopez is a established contributor for them. That kid Green, he's rising up. He's hitting shots. He's jumping 8 feet in the air and hitting jump shots, 3-pointers, curling off of screens. It's not like their roster sucks. The Celtics, they come in. They're without Kristaps Porzingis, the guy who's been, they're like one of their biggest stars this year in Peyton Pritchard. 24 minutes, no points, no 3-pointers. Derek White 0 for 8 from 3, and the Celtics as a team during one stretch of the game missed 14 straight 3-pointers. The Bucks wrestled them into a close game where the Celtics over the years have been vulnerable, and the Bucks find a way to get beat by the Celtics. I mean, how am I supposed to say, if all those things happen, how am I supposed to say, hey, yeah, this team is going to beat them in 4 games, or they're going to go 7 games with this team? Because a few different things happen that go the Celtics' way, and it's a blowout. I mean, Derek White, 0 for 8 from 3. Nah. I thought that was as good of a game as Jason Tatum I've seen play recently. I know he's had a lot of good games. Scoring, driving, the 3, the toughness, playing physical, on-ball defense, passing, ridiculous bounce passes with his left, with his right, threading the needle into the paint, penetrating dish, rebounding. Such an underrated rebound. I mean, this was a complete game for Jason Tatum, man. Complete game for Jason Tatum. I think the only thing that was missing was that floater. I mean, that would have put the cherry on top instead of Drew Holiday hitting that floater. If Tatum hit that floater, or Tatum made the shot to sort of ice it. And it was Tatum who drove and dished it off to Holiday who made the shot. So I'm not going to get upset. I'm just saying that was as complete of a game from Jason Tatum as you will see. It's fascinating to see what they're doing. And I just don't know. I mean, where these conversations should be going. I'm not qualified to make that decision. I'll certainly have an opinion. But we're talking about all time. I mean, they're in the midst of something that's, you don't see all that often. Historically great. They'll do NBA TV docs on this team on this stretch. It's that level. 2008 wasn't that level. I don't care about injuries. They weren't on that level. This team's on a different level. Got to finish it off. Got to keep going. It's not even Christmas. But that was something. I hope Marcus Smart plays tomorrow. I hope he plays. I think this is another nice test. Now, if they go out there and throw up a clunker tomorrow, that's not going to feel good, but that won't, take away from what was accomplished tonight in this game. I would expect them to not shoot. I would hope they don't shoot 32% from 3, even though this was an emotional game and they're going against another team that will be motivated to come in here and make a statement. Motivated to come in here, especially a young team. This is going to be one of their Super Bowls. Trying to get back onto the national stage. They've been without Ja Morant for a long time. Injuries, suspension, guns, all these different things. And they want to prove that they're on the come up and that they have come up to a level of actual NBA title contention. Now, I'm not going to buy that quite yet. But that's what they want to prove. I don't see a line for that game yet. Not yet. I figure the Celtics would probably be close to double-digit favorites. But that, I mean, what a heck of a statement that would be to get another win against a good team at home on a back-to-back before you go into a 4-day rest period, whatever you want to call it, days off. You know, it's just when you have a team that's won the it's 617-779-0985 if you want to jump in before we move on. When you have a team that's won the championship coming off of a title, what are they going to be able to prove in the regular season? You know, you're just trying to just kill time until the playoffs, essentially. But I think based on what this team achieved in June, they've done everything possible to make the most of what would be, you know, the dog days of the NBA season, or at least the early stages of the NBA season. Coming off of the championship in June and everything that happened. I mean, you have guys, they're playing, to me, like they haven't won bleep. You know, it's like you're back trying to prove yourself again. I have never got this whole year. I haven't gotten any type of vibe of, you know, malaise or boredom or, you know, going through the motions or anything like that. Jaylen Brown looks bigger and meaner than he ever has. Tatum looks as good as he's ever looked. You know, definitely. He's in the process of making one of his best runs towards an MVP, in my opinion. I mean, this is what you'd want them to be coming off of a championship, as motivated as they were before they won the championship. That's a testament to the leadership. That's a testament to their star players and their culture. It was such a joy to see this. You know, and Jaylen Brown throws up the too small thing on Giannis, who's 7 feet. I love it. Oh, I love that sequence. Oh, that was so good. It's a joy to see them look like this. And what this is, the come up is over. You know, they're the ones. They're the dogs. They're the ones that are in the throne. And you could see it on the court. You could tell. Just the body language, the vibes. It was Milwaukee trying to hold on to sort of what they were 5 years ago. And it was the Celtics in their absolute prime. That's why they're champs. That's why they're going to be tough to beat. Because everybody else is either on the come up or on their descent. And that's what it feels like the Bucks are. Descending down. Trying to hold on. Showing some, you know, old man Middleton out there trying to see what he can muster up, coming off of 2 ankle surgeries. It just feels different, and it's just a joy to see them in their absolute prime. This is the time for the Boston Celtics, and it's fun to say that because they just took advantage of their time. I mean, a year ago we were talking about now is the time. I don't have to say that. Now is the time. It actually is, because they won, and now they're keeping it going. You know, I bet you we get the same vibe, and I know there's been health issues and whatever. I bet the same vibe emanates from the Miami Heat. Bet when they come in, or if they play them in the playoff series with, I'm not talking about without Jimmy Butler. I'm talking about with Jimmy Butler, the same thing will emerge. The same thing. Where it's not going to feel the same. It's not going to feel the same thing in terms of what we saw tonight. Meaning it's not going to feel the same against the Heat like it has. Where they've been a thorn in your side and Heat culture. And it's going to feel like yesteryear. You know? Like you're at a reunion or something. And they look a little older, and that, you know, that person or team you used to know, it's not what they once were. They've lost some hair. while you're thriving. Just a quick check. It does not appear the Celtics have played the Heat this year. I don't believe they've played the Heat this year, unless I missed something. They did. Sorry. They just played them. Ha! My bad. Yeah. Missed that one. But it's going to feel like that in a series. It's just not going to be the same. The Celtics, they beat the Heat on Monday, 108-89. It's not going to feel the same. The culture is aged out for this team. They've made too many changes that are too productive. And it's just a situation where, it's a long season. Health is a concern, obviously. You don't want to lose one of your key guys. They've been healthy. Obviously, they're managing Porzingis and Horford. But it's just crazy. It's crazy that it's still crazy to me. I know you get over it. It's still crazy to me that Marcus Smart isn't a part of this. And I know the fact that they moved on from him was a big reason why they are where they are. And it's still crazy to me that Danny Ainge isn't a part of this. It's still crazy to me. I know that's ridiculous because both have been gone now, especially Ainge. But the fact that he's doing something else with some other team, I mean, this guy was so big in building what this team is. I mean, the Tatum and the Brown thing, it's huge. It's huge. It's just so awkward that they're not a part of this. It's still, for me, I don't care. But it's awkward that it's gotten to this point. And Marcus Smart, I'm glad that he's gotten his flowers or whatever, but this is a situation where you moved on to a perfect situation with Jrue Holiday, who tonight had 20 points, and I believe was 4 of 9 from 3. And he hit the game-winning shot, not the game-winning shot, but the shot that iced the game. Against his former team. Always the hands, so active. And just a tip of the cap to Al Horford once again. Listen, and again, I don't mean disrespect here, but when Al Horford absolutely balled out against the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs in 2022, obviously I loved it, but I sort of resigned. Shame on me for resigning myself to the idea that was the last best effort of Al Horford's career. I thought he'd still be productive. I still wanted him around. But I just didn't think that he'd be that good to that level anymore. I mean, he was older. There were stretches of those that series, especially against the Bucks, where you were leaning on him. I mean, he was carrying you. I didn't think he'd be at that level anymore. And then last year he was at that level again, and tonight he's back to that level, hitting big shots and doing big things. I mean, the guy is an institution. What a shot, what a player. So that was pretty good. Pretty good to see. And I had him, falling off the cliff 3 years ago, whatever it was. I'm sorry, Al. Because, he still gets it done. He can still play physical defense, and he'll still hit a big shot for you. Tatum's favorite teammate. I thought that was one of the best games I've seen Jason Tatum play. Start to finish. One of the best games. Never looked rattled. Never looked like he was sped up. Still looks for the refs sometimes more that way, whatever. I didn't think it was egregious tonight. It's amazing how big Giannis, he makes Tatum look small, and Tatum is not small. Tatum is long. Tatum is big. He's strong. Giannis is just that much taller. I wish I cut this video. I couldn't find it. I wasn't recording the game on, I'm in the station here. We're watching it on the feed. But at one point, my God, did it look like a bad time that Damian Lillard had with Jaylen Brown putting him in a phone booth and giving him the business. Do you remember that? It was in the first half where Brown just decided, I'm going to be up in his life, up in his shorts, his life. And it's hated. Brown eventually got so far up on him, he flustered Lillard, who tried to make some, move that he wasn't prepared to make, and then he ended up fumbling the ball and falling down, and Brown was fired up. That was a great scene. I just thought Jaylen Brown he had the exact mentality I would want Jaylen Brown to have in this game, and it was a perfect compliment to what Jason Tatum was doing. I mean, the stars for the Celtics, the big two there, I didn't think they could set the tone better in this game, and they were able to do enough despite the fact that some of their sidekicks there couldn't get it going tonight. Pritchard and Derek White. But it didn't matter. They still found a way to get a win. 617-779-0985. I'm Mark Dondero here, in for Joe Murray on The Joe Murray Show.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
I don't remember when I said it recently. I loved what Jaylen Brown did in that interaction with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think I agree with what Joe Mazzulla said post game. Quote, what did he say? I thought the elbow to the face kind of unlocked Jaylen a little bit. I thought the technical was tremendous, and I thought from there on it just brought out an edge in us. Close quote, Joe Mazzulla. I totally agree. To have your leader, one of your leader, get right in the face of this guy that's been, one of the faces of the NBA after what happened the last time they met and the whole handshake thing. To get in his face and to make a statement, verbal or non, like that, I just love every minute of that. That was well worth the technical foul. I love that attitude. I love the culture that presents. And I just love that whole sequence for the Celtics and Jaylen Brown, especially. I mean, what a finish over Giannis, who's longer, who's, I'm not going to say he's as strong. I don't know. Maybe he's almost as strong. But to finish with the left hand off the glass like that with him in your face, then he hits him with the too small. There's a little elbow. I loved every second of that. And then he's not backing down. That's what this team needed. And that's what this team is now, and it's everything that all of us had hoped this team would blossom into, especially coming off the championship. But they find a way to do it after a struggle offensively in the second quarter and trailing at halftime, still finding a way to grind it out. Great couple days for Joe Mazzulla. I think, correct me if I don't want to speak out of turn here, but didn't his son just win a state championship with Zavarian football last night? Was he at that game last night? I was at that game last night. State championship last night. Nice win tonight. If that's the case, congrats to the Mazzullas. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night against Memphis. I don't know if Memphis is a real contender. They were doing some nice things. They've got some guys. They've got some experience. Obviously, they've got a star. I don't think they're a true. I think they're probably a star away and a postseason run away from being a true contender. They probably need one more star, preferably a big, and probably one more run or trip through the postseason, resulting in a loss to kind of get that experience that they haven't had as recently. I think they do that. Maybe you could talk about them contending in the West, especially if some of these other teams. Minnesota's going to take a step back. Obviously, the Lakers feel like they're sort of, going down, especially with LeBron aging, and maybe this is his last season. I don't know. Anthony Davis is not enough to carry a team. They keep having these guys pop up, and it's fine. Austin Reeves is fun, and, the Connect or whatever, Connect 4, whatever his name is good. But I don't think they're a real threat. We'll see. Teams like Phoenix, they're aging out. They're not going to be true contenders for another two. Maybe they could piece something together this year. I don't think they're challenging the Celtics for anything. I'm talking about the West. Denver, while Jokic remains in his prime and Jamal Murray remains in his prime, still worth considering. You still have to take them seriously. I think it's going to be OKC. I'm not ready to buy anything on Houston yet. Nice little season so far. It's going to be OKC. You throw Memphis in there as a up-and-coming contender, which, that was a great rivalry back in the day. I remember back in the day when the Thunder were young and it was Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden going up against Zach Randolph when he was on the Grizzlies and some of those early, those 2010, 11, 12, that type of time frame Grizzlies teams. Forget who else was on those teams. I just remember Zach Randolph. They had some good series. The Grizzlies back then were a thorn in the side of the Thunder, and we'll see if it winds up being that again. But I don't know. None of these teams necessarily can challenge the Celtics. I'm just trying to think about the West and who Memphis could, until I just think the aggressiveness of Golden State always keeps them in it, especially with Curry still playing at a high level and Curry and Green and that leadership still being there. If they can find a way to get another star, if Giannis ever ended up there, I think they could eke out a couple more years of true contention. Or, a younger star even. I don't know. Maybe they get an Anthony Davis. I don't know. But they are one star away from eking out a couple more years of true contention. So I'm not going to just write them off completely. I think the Lakers are going down and out. I think the Clippers, nothing, I don't, even if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, James Harden has turned back the clock a little bit this year, I still don't see them as a real true contender. The Knicks will be an X factor as we go forward. The Cavs, it's still Cleveland. It's done. I just think they need another star. I just don't know. The Celtics have 2 top 15 NBA players